Today is Tuesday, Parashat Chukat-Balak. The beginning of Parashat Chukat tells us about the para aduma, the red heifer. It's a cow that is totally red. It has even two hairs that are black or a different color. The para is no longer usable as para aduma. Many laws that apply to it. You cannot have anything on its back for it to carry it. You cannot work with it. You cannot have any blemish. And it's used after it's burned. The ashes mixed with spring water are used to purify a person that became ritually impure by being in the same room with the corpse or by going to visit a cemetery. But there are many laws that are applicable to it that you'd say, why is it that way? The person who's sprinkled on becomes pure, but the person who's doing the sprinkling becomes impure. And to such an extent that even Shlomo HaMelech says, even though he was so wise, this is, para aduma is very hard to understand. And since it was very rare, it would cost a lot of money to find, to buy a para aduma if somebody had one in his herd. Well, there's a story that is brought in the Talmud, in the Gemara, Masechet Avodah Zarah, about an example of what kibud avayim is, to respect father and mother. If you want to get an example to what extent a person should respect his father and mother, the Talmud brings a story about a person who's not even Jewish. His name was Dama ben Netina, who was approached by the Jewish people who were looking for the jewels to put in the breastplate that the Kohen Gadol wore. There was a need for the jewels. There were a jewel missing in the breastplate. And Dama ben Netina had that kind of jewel. They went there to buy it from him, willing to pay a big sum of money, 600,000 of the currency of the time. And when they came to him, he said, sorry, I'm not able to sell it to you because the jewel is in a safe and my father has the key to the safe and my father is asleep right now and the key is under his pillow, and therefore, sorry, not going to wake up my father, even though this is an opportunity to make a big deal business-wise to sell you that big jewel, the jewel. And they left, and the deal was not made, and the Dama ben Netina respected his father by not waking him up, even for such an incredible business opportunity. That's brought as an example of what kibud avayim is, what is an example of honoring father and mother. The following year, Dama ben Netina was rewarded. Hashem made a red heifer to be born in his flock, and now the Jewish people need a red heifer. Dama ben Netina has it, they go to him, and they come to buy the red heifer. He tells them, I know you would be willing to pay any sum I would ask you, because obviously red heifer is almost impossible to find, extremely rare. But I'm going to ask you just for the money that you would have paid me for that jewel when you came last year. And this is a story in the Gemara, in the Talmud, but there are many lessons to learn from this. One of the lessons, of course, is the extent to which a person should honor father and mother. But why is it that he was rewarded by a para aduma specifically? Our sages explain, do we need to take an example of what it is to respect father and mother from a goy and the other Jewish people that could be great examples of what respecting a father would be? But here the story itself tells us an incredible message. To respect father and mother is somebody that anybody could arrive at logically. Of course, they brought us to the world. They take care of the baby from the moment he's born and educate him, nurture him, take care of his expenses, care for him in every way possible. So it would make sense to anyone, even if the Torah hadn't written it as one of the 10 commandments. It would have made sense to anybody that it's an obligation to honor and respect the father and mother. So that anybody, even Jewish, non-Jewish, anybody in his right mind would come to this conclusion. But when he was rewarded with Para Aduma, that's a tribute to Am Yisrael, to the Jewish people. Because Para Aduma, in a way, it doesn't make sense. You don't arrive to it through logical thinking. Even Shlomo HaMelech says, Ehkema v'yirechoka mimeni. Even though Shlomo HaMelech was the wisest of all men, he couldn't understand how the person who purifies another one by sprinkling on him the ashes and spring water, Para Aduma, the person who gets sprinkled on gets pure. The person who's doing the sprinkling gets impure. The whole idea of Para Aduma is called the Chukah. Chukah is something that is not like a mishpat, which is a law that you can arrive to logically. Chukah is a statute that is from Hashem with no explanation. To observe those kind of mitzvot, that's the greatness of Am Yisrael. It's not, we don't observe just the mitzvot that because they make sense to us, because you could arrive it logically. We do it because it's the word of Hashem. And that reward to the Dama ben Netina with Para Aduma, and the Jewish people willing to pay all that money for it, is in itself the message that we observe the laws, whether they are laws that make sense logically because we could arrive it on our own, or they're laws like the Para Aduma, which is because it's the word of Hashem, even if we don't understand all its aspects. And these are some of the messages associated with that story. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.